Hey everybody. Hi. Welcome. How are y'all doing? Hey there. I'm Todd Nauck, professional comic book artist. You might know my work from various issues of Amazing Spider-Man. You might have seen my work on Avengers. And most recently, I'm drawing the new Gwen Stacy series. Gwen Stacy, Peter Parker's girlfriend from college. Well, we're telling the story about her life before she met Peter Parker, her life in high school, and the adventures she had before she was introduced into the Marvel Universe. So that's in stores now. The first 2 issues are in stores now. So today, we are continuing the coronavirus lockdown post-it pop art, post-it note art series. So thank you so much for joining me. If you're here to watch and have fun, welcome. So glad you're here. If you want to draw along, please do. Now, I'll be using my professional tools and this post-it note to draw my illustration, but use whatever you have. You don't have to have the same tools I do. You don't have to draw the same way I do. Draw your way. Hopefully you might learn some tips and tricks from the way I do my art that you can apply to the art that you do. But draw at whatever skill level you're at. The main thing here is we're gonna have fun. That's the main thing. Drawing is fun, so we're gonna just keep on drawing and we're gonna keep having fun. So glad you're here. Hopefully you're staying well during this coronavirus sort of lockdown. Hopefully you're washing your hands. Hopefully you're maintaining that 6-foot social distance. We want to, we want this thing to run its course as quickly as it can so we can get back to life as normal as possible. So hopefully everyone's staying well. So let's flip the camera around and let's get drawing. Just gotta readjust the rig as always. Just do the little flip-flop. Try to respond to questions and comments while I draw, while I share my tips and tricks. So this is a 3" by 3" post-it note here, going with yellow for Cheetara. We're drawing, if I didn't say that before, drawing Cheetara from Thundercats. I thought she'd be something kind of fun, kind of different. This is actually a character I don't know if I've ever really drawn Cheetara, so this will kind of be a first for me. So just going to be the headshot here. So we're going to start with a circle, as I do with most every head, especially if it's a human or humanoid sort of looking head. Just going to kind of angle this down just a little bit more so we have some room for her hair. Really want to showcase that hair of hers. So I get that circle going, then bring those jaw lines down to the chin. Females can be a more challenging type of character for us to draw, especially when we're starting out. I knew I had the hardest time learning how to draw female characters when I was younger. It was just hard to capture the aspects of a female character, because I wanted to capture femininity, I wanted to capture strength, yeah, so it was always challenging. So what we're doing here is bisecting the head. So we have the center line, so we can put one of everything on each side: eyes, ears, nostrils. So the eye line is halfway from the top of the head to the chin. Nose line halfway, and this is roughly from the eye line to the chin, and then the mouth line. And I'm drawing the classic Cheetara here. So yeah, I really struggled with drawing female characters, so I'm figuring out the hairline, which is oftentimes halfway from the top of the head to the eye line. This is where the hairline can start, but that can always change depending on how much hair the character has on their head. Let's figure out where the eyes are going to go. So right now this is all about breaking down where is everything supposed to be. We'll fill in the details more and more later. So we put one eye there. And we have about the width between the 2 eyes is about the same as one eye. Maybe go a little bit wider to give a more cat-like sort of feel. So I had life drawing classes and fashion illustration classes at the Art Institute when I was studying when I was younger, and so that helped me kind of learn how to draw females better and made drawing my female characters a bit easier. It took a lot of practice. It takes a lot of practice to learn the shapes and how much detail to put into a face or figure. All right, so we got the eyes there. We kind of know where the sides of the head will be. And from the center of the eye, I can bring little guidelines down. That'll help me know about how wide to make the mouth if I want. I went to the Art Institute of Dallas. Someone's asking if I went to the Art Institute of Chicago. No, I went to the Dallas School back in the 1990s. So we're gonna put in some nostrils here. Now, I'm not gonna draw a full nose. Now, sometimes I'll put in a little diamond shape here to see the tip of the nose. I know the eyebrows. Well, she doesn't really have eyebrows according to my reference here, but the brow would be there. So I know the bridge would be there. Now, we're not gonna see these lines in the inks here, but this is just kind of showing how I can construct my nose to know where to put the nostrils. Because in comics, sometimes, depending on how close up of a shot of the face we have, we only really just do the nostrils. We don't draw every aspect of the nose, just the kind of the shadow part, the inner part of the nostril, not even the sides of the nostril necessarily. Then we got that little philtrum right there. That's called the philtrum, that little trough between our nose and our top lip. And then we can draw in her lips here. So we kind of have a little, almost a little butterfly sort of shape there, that little divot. I'll put a little top of the eyelid on there. See from my classic 80s reference. I'm drawing the classic 80s Thundercats. Haven't seen the current Thundercats yet. But she has those eyelids that will be purple, bring a little extra color into her. Now her hair covers her ears, but her ears would be right about here, assuming they are human-like ears. I'd imagine she has more cat-like ears, but we won't be seeing those, so we don't really have to worry about them. But sometimes it's good to know where everything is in our illustrations. Like I have the top of the head here. I know that when I put my hair on there, it's going to cover a full top of the head, and we're going to have a fullness to the head and not cut the head short if just I drew a face, then drew hair beyond that. So we have our neck muscles here, down to her shoulders. Just a little bit of the clavicle, that shoulder bone there. A little bit of her shoulder there. All right, now let's figure out this hair here. So it kind of comes from the center. It's very, very wild. She's kind of got these kind of anime sideburns here. Now I'm looking at the classic 80s screen grab here, but I'm going to bring in my own flavor and sensibilities to it, my own approach. So I'm not looking to copy the illustration I'm seeing, but I'm utilizing the shapes and aspects of the design of the character and then just making it my own. Now I've been doing this for a lot of years. I've had a lot of years to kind of work on my skills and my style. So that my approach comes pretty natural to me. And if your approach isn't coming natural to you, that's okay. That is 100% okay. You're still learning. You're still figuring out your skills and your style. And that's okay. A lot of people ask, how do I find my style? I think we addressed that in a previous video here recently. We're just going to throw some spots in here. Some cheetah type spots. Our style comes from our practice, our study, our skill in just drawing the way we do, and our own kind of preferences of our sensibilities of what we like. What are the pleasing shapes and lines for us when we draw? And that kind of comes with time. So we have the facial markings here. These will pull down the sides of her head. and come to a point down here just below her cheeks. So looking at the reference, I can see this is the shape. Now how do I translate that through the Todd Nauck filter? That's just what the style is, the Todd Nauck filter, as opposed to the 1980s animator filter of whoever was working on this cartoon back in the day. And then we have her iris and pupils. That will be circles right inside the eyes that we established earlier. Gonna work those eyelashes a little more here. So really getting my details down here before I commit to the inks. Okay, so now we will grab my... So a lot of people ask what pencil I was using. I'm using a mechanical pencil, the Uni Kuratoga, the 0.3 lead with an HB lead. It's 0.3 HB lead. And then I'm going to use my Pigma Micron pens here. I often use the 08, the 01, and the 005. So I'm going to start with the 08, the thicker of the two, for our initial broad strokes here. And we're just going to kind of work foreground to background. So the hair overlaps the forehead, so I'm starting there. I'm just going to start pulling from the side of the head, the hairline of the head, kind of pulling the lines out and away to get the flow and the chunky shapes that I want. So it's kind of like a puzzle. It's like putting together a puzzle. Which piece do I need to do before I get to the next piece? What order do I want to go in? Sometimes I get it right, sometimes it might not go the way I want and I have to kind of course correct, but that comes with a lot of trial and error. I'm a big proponent of trial and error. Give it a try. Give it a try. If you're not sure, just try and then learn. Pay attention to what you're doing and see if it doesn't work out the way you wanted, how can you try differently next time? What did you notice that didn't work right for you? And then you'll know to next time maybe not do that approach, but maybe if you try something different, it'll work a little bit better. And then just keep doing that until it gets kind of to the place where you want it to be. So don't be afraid to just give something a shot. Because you never know what you might discover and you never know what you might learn. And that's where, for me, I think learning comes from, is we learn from our mistakes. We don't learn from just being perfect from Jump Street. Allow yourself to make mistakes, but learn from the mistakes. And it's a lot less stressful. Not to say there won't be stress, but the stress I think can be a bit more manageable at times, because carrying a little more grace for yourself. And that can be a challenge in itself. Not being quite so hard on ourselves. But we want to be disciplined to keep moving forward and keep trying, keep studying, and keep keep growing in our skills. So allowing ourselves the freedom to take the time to do that. All right, so the hair here is really fun because it's just these wild chunks of curvy triangle type shapes here. So my pencil lines are just a guideline to lead me to where I want to place each of these inked lines. I'm going to use a brush pen here for these spots, so we'll get to those soon. I was tempted to start putting the spots on her shoulders, like, wait. The brush pen's going to work, give me the texture I want for that. Okay, so now it's time for the details of her face. So I'm going to switch to my 0.1 micron. I'm going to start with the eyelashes here. Someone asked if I can show all the post-it notes I've done so far. I've been doing post-it notes for about, post-it note drawings for about, I want to say maybe 6 years. I think I started around 2014 or so. Go to the Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page and look in the photo albums. And I have a whole album dedicated to all the post-it notes I've done. I think I've done over 400 post-it notes over the past 6 years. So if you want to see all my post-it notes, you can see them all there. And you can see how they've evolved over time. From the very first one, which was a Spider-Man, to the most recent one, which will be Cheetara. Once this one's done, I'll be sure to upload her there. So go to the Art of Todd Nauck on Facebook. Go to photos, go to albums, and then look for the post-it note album. And then you can see them all there. That's the easiest way to see every post-it note I've drawn to date. Just going to make this top eyelash a little thicker. Now for the nostril here, you know, I said we don't, or for the nose here, we're just going to ink the nostrils here. Just that little bit there keeps her face nice and clean here. Then for her lips, a little thinner line on top, a little thicker line. And it's really subtle here, but underneath kind of creates a subtle sense of a shadow. For the bottom lip, a little thicker right down there on the bottom of the bottom lip to give that sense of a shadow. Okay, and then we have her eye markings here. Just keeping a nice, clean, smooth line there. Okay, now we need the, go switch to the 0.05. Hey there, are we back? Okay, we're back. So sorry, gang. Something bogged down with the internet, but hopefully we are back and still with us there. How are we doing, everybody? Hopefully, looks like I'm back online, so I'll trust that we are back to work. So just putting the tops of the eyelids here. And we're going to put in the, now tackle the inner parts of the eye. The iris, which is the color part, and then the pupil, which is the black part of the eye. And one thing you want to make sure is that you make the irises and pupils the same sides for both eyes. You don't want one really big and then the other side really small, unless there's a reason that one would be big or small. But you're doing something comedic or something like that. But if it's just a normal illustration of the character, then it should be the same size. And now I'm going to take I'm going to use a tool I don't often use, but my zebra brush pen. Zebra brush pen, the medium zebra brush pen. I'm going to come in, I'm going to start putting in these spots. So it looks like she has spots at the top side of her hair. So with this brush pen, it has a lot of give to the nib. So I can apply pressure and create these shapes with the with this brush-like nib. So we have a few spots towards the back of her hair, or the bottom, I should say. And then here on her shoulders. And kind of up towards her neck. Now a lot of this is going to come together with color, and I'm really looking forward to getting into that here real soon, once we finish the line art here. Thanks for sticking with me during the internet gag, gang. If it's too big of a gag, I can hopefully go in and edit that out, if necessary, after the live stream. So that when you watch on replay, you don't have to sit there for a couple of minutes waiting for the signal to kick back in. All right, so I'm gonna give that a moment to dry. Fortunately, it dries pretty quick. I'm gonna use my kneaded art gum eraser here. And just gonna pull out all of these pencil lines. All those structure lines, no longer necessary. They were just the guidelines to help me get to this stage here. So all those nose lines we'd drawn in, they're gone. But I know the structure of my nose, so when I go to color, I can keep the shape of the nose accurate. So I didn't just randomly put two nostrils there. I knew that they would go through the line of the tip of the nose, bridge of the nose, up to the brow. So that's why it's good to draw in the structure of whatever it is I'm working on to hopefully maintain as much consistency as possible. Now I'm using my Staedtler Mars plastic eraser here to get some of those darker pencil lines gone. Okay, so now it's time for the colors. So we're going to start with her hair, and we're going to start with some Y19. So her hair is yellow, and we're working on yellow here, so we're just going to use some darker yellow to really kind of convey that. That's kind of the fun of working on colored paper, is what choices would I make that are different than the choices I would have made if I was coloring on white paper. So the color paper creates a whole new element and approach to my colors. Oh yeah, a little sharp thing right there. Yeah, looks like that's a little smudge. Well, we'll see if we can work that out with color. This is more in the vein of a warm-up sketch, so nothing that would go to final print. So little things like that, don't let that slow me down. A little Y19, let's come in with a little Y21. Now let's see. Try to pick out the right colors for the moment. Let's try some YR27 for her eye markings and her tunic. So I'm just sculpting around the shapes of her face. Like under the eye, down the cheek, on the inside, leaving some parts open here for me to come in with a lighter shade of orange. So this is kind of a darker orange, kind of a brownish orange. I'm going to use the same shade here for her tunic. And then, let's see, let's take this to a YR16. Or no, YR23, I think might be the way to go. Just let these two inks kind of blend together to create a bit of a transition. Let's see. So let's try some YR01. Is this the right shade? For kind of along her neck and arms here. As well as kind of sculpting out some aspects of her face. Looks like she has brown eyes, so we're going to come in with some E13 for the eyeballs there. She has some purple for the eyelids, so we're going to come in with some V01. And this is too light, I can go with a darker purple. Yeah, that's too light. Need a little bit of a darker purple. So I'll go V15 instead. Even that looks like brown, but it's that purple mixing with the yellow. So here's a more vibrant purple, a V04. We'll just leave it at that. Then for her mouth here, let's start with some R56. And then we'll come in with some a lighter shade of a RV32, kind of more of a pink. So a dark red and then some pink here. Okay, now we're going to come in with some grays for the more realistic shadows. So I'm going to start with some cool gray 2 for her quote-unquote skin, fur. We're going to do the white pencil trick. If y'all seen my previous videos, and like last week's post-it videos, you'll know I'll come in with a white pencil here soon. And we're going to use that for her, the lighter part here. This is supposed to be even lighter. So we're going to come in with that white pencil to really kind of bring that home. Let's kick it to a cool gray 3. Pull through the hair from the base of the hair. That's a nice thing I like about a brush tip marker, is that you can get these chunky, brushy shapes. Putting more gray behind these little sideburn areas so that they pop. So if I put the gray behind them, they pop a little bit more, but putting a little gray there at the root to give them a little bit of shape. Put some of this cool gray right here through the lips and under the nose. A little bit here through the eye marking. Like through the brow there. You can always layer in more color. You can give it a second coat for a little darker, maybe a little bit more under the chin, so we have a little bit darker shadow under the chin. And let's see, I want to go even a little bit darker. I'm going to go to the cool gray 5 here. It's even seriously dark here for the eyeballs. I want a little more brown in those eyes, so I'm going to add a little E15 just right over here by the highlight, just to give a little more contrast in her eyes there. See the dark to light? So let's go ahead and drop in the fade. We're going to do a cool gray fade here just to kind of really keep it warm. So I'm going to start with a warm gray. I keep saying cool gray when I mean warm gray. Warm grays, we're going to do a warm gray fade. And then we'll come in with a colored pencil and then my ultimate finishing move. Many of you know what my finishing move is for my post-it sketches. So starting with, we're just going to do a fade from dark to light. So warm gray 5 to a warm gray 3. It's as simple as just coloring over the previous color down into the open area to blend, to get a nice gradation. If you don't have Copic markers, or Copic markers can be quite expensive. They are an expensive marker. Some alternatives out there are touch markers, Arteza markers, Prismacolor markers. You could even use like Crayola markers if you want. Whatever you can afford to have fun with. But Arteza, I know, are pretty nicely priced and are of a decent quality. And that was the warm gray 1 there. So now let's grab that colored pencil. It's a white pencil here. And any brand will do. I'm using a Derwent Inktense. Had this for a long time. And then I color over that gray that I shadowed into her eyes to create white eyes. Now I'm just going to lightly shade this in over the light part of her face to create an even lighter shade of yellow to capture more of that kind of classic Cheetara look. Just let it color over that gray and it lightens it up a little bit. Taking it right to that kind of fur line there where it's her golden fur to the lighter fur. here that runs down the center. Just adding a little more heavier white down the center of the nose, right there on the chin. Oh, and don't forget the teeth. And that's how I achieve white or a very light color on a Post-it. And then lastly here, time for the finishing move, gang, the Uniball Signo white gel pen. I like to put my white outline around the figure to give it pop off of the Post-it colored background. Just taking the white line right up next to the black line. Ideally not over the black line. So we're wrapping this one up. I want to say thanks everyone for joining me here. Hope you're all staying safe and well. If you're new to my channel and you like what you see, please feel free to subscribe and then tap that bell to set your notifications to alert you when I schedule my next live stream or post a new art video. If you like what you see, please leave me a thumbs up and leave a comment in the section below. It's much appreciated. And feel free to share my videos with your family and friends. If you like art, you know someone who likes art, you have friends who like art, please let them know. Let me put my name on here and the date. So just do my last name here. Today is the 23rd of March, 2020. And there's Cheetara from Thundercats, classic Thundercats. All right, let's flip the camera around and we'll chat and wrap up this today's video. All right, let me plug back into the rig here. We'll sign off. There we go. There we go. The new clamp is I love the light on my new clamp, but the clamp itself is a little more challenging than my previous clamp. But first world problems. Gang, thank you so much. Here's Cheetara. I'll be posting her to my Instagram, my Twitter, and my Art of Todd Nauck Facebook page. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter as @ToddNauck. You can find me on Facebook as Art of Todd Nauck. Just search Art of Todd Nauck. You should find my my account and go to the photo albums and you can find the Post-it album and you can see all of these. You'll see her in her own post right there on the feed, but you can also go to the album. She'll actually be in the album, so that would probably be a quick way to click. Just click new Post-it note in my Post-it note album. But I should have all my social media links listed in the video description below a little bit when I have a chance to edit those in. And yeah, thanks for sticking with me. Hope you had fun. Hope you learned something. Hopefully you learned something. I'm blowing my lines here. The cue cards are like a mess over there. Thank you. Yeah, I hope you're staying safe and well during this coronavirus lockdown quarantine. Keep washing your hands. Don't touch your face, especially if you haven't washed your hands. We want to try to minimize anyone else getting sick. So hopefully, oh my gosh, what is going on here? Didn't do my warm-up exercises either. Red leather, yellow leather. So gang, thanks so much. I need to get out of here. I got to get to work. Got to get back to drawing those comic books. And I hope, yeah, hopefully I'll see you again real soon. Probably tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Greenwich. So thanks so much, and I'll see you again real soon. Keep on drawing, keep having fun. I'm Todd Nauck. Take care.